What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So in this video, I want to talk about this whole situation that has been unfolding very recently involving the comedian Godfrey and his views on interracial dating and relationships, more so as they pertain to black women and white men. So those of you probably have already seen his initial video that he posted on social media. Um, Pretty much him walking past a billboard of some sort that featured a couple, a black woman and a white man, for the insurance company Fidelis. And when he saw that, he was triggered to immediately go live and to provide his commentary on that. And now he's saying that that commentary that he provided was, a joke. It was just a joke. But when I initially seen it, I didn't view that as him joking. I felt that he was being completely serious about what he was talking about. And as well, he was speaking on some things that were kind of like serious topics as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that clip as well as some other clips that I have of Godfrey, and we're just going to sort of go through the clips, and I'm going to give my thoughts, opinions, and commentary on the things that Godfrey is saying in regards to, black women and interracial dating, particularly black women interracially dating with white men. So here we go.
What's up, guys? It's Godfrey, and yes, I have some to say. Check it out, yo. I'm in the middle of Black Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, okay? And I'm walking by, because the thing about comedians, just artists, we pay attention to everything. Visual is important. Visuals are important. Advertising is what this world runs on. What you see is very important. Visuals are what's very important. Television. All of those posters, important. Look, I just walked past this. Now, I know it's a nice little health, it's like, I guess, a health insurance thing. Fidelis Care. Yeah. But there's this white guy and this black woman, okay? Listen, I have a problem with that. There's been a lot of this. Even at my bank, they got a black woman with a white guy. It's a lot of black women with white guys. You know what I mean? It's what I noticed. But in black Brooklyn, all these black people are walking past this, and what are you trying to say? I can understand if you're in certain parts of Manhattan or something like that, some gentrified area, but what the f*** is this saying? That it's better to get one of these? Get a white guy? And
So first, this is very important to say, and that is a black woman, especially a black woman with the same phenotype as Godfrey, would not be able to even get away with doing this. If she were to do this, she would be tore apart on social media. All right, they would be going at her. Can you imagine if, say, Cheryl Underwood, Leslie Jones, Lunel, or even like some more, or Aisha Tyler did something like this? Could you imagine how people, the black community, including both black men and the mammy pick me meal black women, could you imagine how they would just rip her apart and just go in? And not to say that people ain't going in, but it's pretty much a particular segment that's going in on Godfrey, and that is like the divestment or swirling black women more so. So that's very important to note that, a black woman, especially a black woman with the same phenotype as Godfrey, would not be able to even get away with trying to pass this off as a joke or anything. Even if it was a joke, they would rip her to shreds. Right? So That's important to know. And also he's walking past this billboard or this advertisement, and he sees a white man and a black woman as a couple, as a seemingly happy couple, and he gets triggered by that. Just seeing a black woman and a white man seemingly being a happy couple. It's not like the white man had the black woman in some sort of like degrading position or something. It's just them being a happy couple and having some insurance. What's wrong with that, right? And also another thing that sort of triggers me in this situation and just some situations in general is that people tend to have selective critical thinking skills. Because had Godfrey walked past a similar billboard, but it featured a black man and a white woman, he wouldn't be even reading that much into it like that. He would, if he were to read into it, he would read into it as, oh, black men are popping. That's what's up. Oh, black men are desired. That's what's up. By many different women. That's what's up. People wouldn't be reading into it as, oh, this is an agenda. Oh, they're attacking the black family and the black man. Oh, this is a message saying that you can't depend on the black man, black woman. You gotta depend on the white man, black woman. This is not a good message for the youth. This is not a good message for those young up and coming black youngsters. This is going to brainwash them into thinking that whiter men are better than black men. Right? And as well, like, haven't we had like over 10 years of keeping up with the Kardashians? That in itself was a whole lot of interracial propaganda directed primarily at black men. But folks don't be really reading into it like that. The Kardashians, they be going through, the black men and damaging them and whatnot. You know, like look at Lamar Odom. He probably somewhere sniffing coke, crack, and doing whatever right now. Right? Kanye West, he's somewhere losing his mind. Right? No, but that's not really seen as an agenda. You feel me? Like that ain't really seen as an agenda. It's just, oh, that's just what it is. That's just how things are. You know, People don't really read into all that when it comes to like black men and non-black women. Folks tend to not really do all that critical thinking. Right? So, with that being said, let's continue.
Listen, and I don't want any of you interracial that are in an interracial relationship making these stupid comments like, what's wrong? Love is love. Shut your deluded ass up, please. I always hate that. Keep your racial integrity. Just because you go on the other side or whoever you want to date, like I said, love is love. Yeah. But don't lose your who you are. And a lot of you tend to do that kind of shit.
So now he doesn't want black women are, quote unquote, interracial MFs to respond, but primarily black women who are in interracial relationships. He does not want them to respond, even though he is coming after them, right? Even though he is saying their name, they can't respond to anything that he's saying. Like, at least not with like love is love. He doesn't want that response, right? And then he says, don't, love is love, seemingly kind of contradicting what he said just a few moments earlier, right? And then he's saying, don't lose yourself. But how has that black woman in that advertisement lost herself exactly? What has she done in that ad that shows that she has lost herself, or that she is like being degraded in some way, that she's being disrespected in some way in that ad. I mean, she's being disrespected by you, Godfrey, but in that ad, it doesn't seem like she's being disrespected. It just seems like two people being a happy couple. You know? And mind you, this is supposed to be a joke. All this is supposed to be a joke right here, right? I'm not catching the joke vibes, right? Nevertheless, let's continue.
I have a problem with this. Now, first of all, where's the black dude with the white girl? First of all, we started that, all right? Black dudes have been messing with white girls for a long time, and that's half the reason why you motherfuckers do this in the first place, because we were the ones that kind of abandoned you. I get that. Where's the black dude with the white girl? Where's that? No, because you know why? The people who run it look like him and don't want to see that. You know, there should be black dudes with white girls. There's so many of them. But then you got the white dude with the black girl. So, you know, there's probably some black women going, I need to get me one. Yup. I need to get me one. It's like this is security now.
All right, so this is interesting because now Godfrey is asking, where's the white girl and the black dude? You know, where's the black dude and the white girl at? Right? And I'm like, well, shouldn't the question more so be, you know, how about where's the black dude with the black girl? You know, since we're all about black love, the black family, the black community, pro-black empowerment, right? Wouldn't that make more sense? I mean, you can't really have those things when a black man is with a white woman. But as quiet as it's kept, a lot of these pro-black multiculturalist type dudes really think that for some reason. They really think that they can just, you know, magically, you know, have a whole black family, black community, black world without black women. You know, just as long as the black man is a part of it, it's black, right? Also, like, he's talking about, you know, black man started it, you know. It's almost like he wants to low-key brag about black men kind of starting, quote unquote, starting interracial dating, which I guess, I don't know. I guess technically, since I wouldn't count like slavery and, you know, the situations with black women being sexually violated as being like relationships and swirling. But nevertheless, um, it's almost like Godfrey wants to get some credit or some cool points for black men as a collective for starting, you know, interracial dating within, you know, the black community and sort of, you know, quote unquote, popping that off or getting that popping, right? Almost as if it's like a competition. Like, oh, we started it. Oh, we the trailblazers in this, baby. Right? Like, it's not a competition, is it? Right? And then he goes into like, um, you know, us black men are the reason why you black women are really like you MFs do this in the first place. And I do think that in some ways there can be some truth in that, but also I think that Godfrey is sort of overestimating his importance and other black men's importance when it comes to black women. And honestly, that can be easily done because of like the whole Manny Pick Me Meal black worshiping culture that comes into play a lot of times. So a lot of black men may feel like they're the center of black women's universe because of that. But again, I won't say that there's no truth in that, but I won't also say that, you know, there's a whole nother side to the story where it's like, well, Why do you think this is really about you? It's not about you. It's not really concerning you. It's not has anything. It doesn't have anything to really do with you. But I think that also plays into like um, a person's feelings of importance in a person's ego. Like, oh yeah, it's all because of me. Everything revolves around me. I'm the important one. And then he goes on to say that black men sort of abandon black women, and he gets that. And he really glosses over that. If that is truly the case, then why are you coming for black women who decide to move on and explore other options, especially if they were abandoned? If someone abandoned you, you're not really beholden to them at that point because they have not been beholden to you. So it wouldn't really, a lot of people, low key and high key, tell black women to move on, to, you know, go on about their business. Oh, it's not that important. When black women complain about black men swirling and whatnot, or black women file colorism complaints, you know. But really, I don't think people want black women to really move on all like that. It's just something to say to shut them up, right? Because once they move on, then, oh, that's an issue too, you know? And also, considering that black men started the swirl movement, the interracial dating stuff, and the black men sort of abandoned the black woman, considering all that, right? Wouldn't it make more sense to address black men in this case and say, hey, black men, this is a problem. We got to get our stuff together, right? But nah, he ain't going to be coming at black men with this same energy that he's coming at black women with. One, because there'll be a lot of pushback on that. And he'll be sort of just alone on his own. Yeah, he'll have some black women, a few, kind of supporting that cause, but he'll be alone on his own on that, right? But for some reason, well, we all know why. There's a lot of comfortability, if that is a word, I'm not sure. A lot of comfortability that people have, especially even black men have when it comes to coming for black women. They feel really comfortable to come for black women. And also some black women even support it because there'll be some mammy pick me meal coming through and supporting Godfrey, as y'all seen in the follow-up videos to this, right? And they'll come through and run interference and try to support this, and they'll come through thinking like pretty much like, oh, I ain't a swirler, so this ain't about me. Oh, I don't swirl, so I ain't gonna be getting that work. That's gonna be for them swirlers. And yeah, at the moment, that work is for them swirlers over there. But don't get it twisted. You can get that work too. It's just right now at the moment it's not your turn, and also you're helping run interference, so he's not going to go against you right now, right? But mark my word, at one point or another, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get that work, right? And it's probably gonna be even a bit more work for you because you played a part in helping him attack black women. All right, so you're gonna get a bit of extra work with that, right? Also, in regards to Godfrey wanting to see some advertisements with black men and white women, here's the thing: Godfrey, as well as other black men, more or less love the idea of feeling and being desired by other groups of women outside of black women. It's a form of validation. It's a confidence booster. It makes them feel like they are special snowflakes. Our special chocolate snowflakes, I guess. And black men, by and large, don't want to give that up. I mean, let's be real. Black men speak up about things that they have a problem with, as well other groups of people. There may be, a black man here and a black man there, but it's not enough. Pushing to get rid of that agenda, that propaganda, right? Or, that advertisement, as they like to put it. And, that's just how it is. So, yeah. And also, as quiet as it's kept, I don't think the collective of black men want black women to have that same sort of feeling of desirability by other groups of men. They don't want black women to really have that validation, right? And you also hear like, oh, get validation from within. Oh, you shouldn't be looking to the media to validate you and all that good stuff, right? But as we know, that media validation is important. Representation is important. Right? And as well, they don't want black women to have that because, we can't have black women walking around here thinking they got options outside of the black man, outside of the black community. No way. Nuh-uh. And because of that and the way that things are sort of structured and set up and, the mammy pick me mules pushing black worship, black male worship culture, black male centered culture, whatever you want to call it. That's why some black men do kind of feel like they can just easily discard and replace black women. At least until things get real, until they realize that other groups of women ain't really checking for them like that, and other groups of women really don't have their back like that. Then they'll come back trying to get black women support, and a lot of times won't even be apologetic about it, and instead come with a sense of entitlement, like they're still entitled to black women's support, even though they've jumped out and went outside of the community. Even still, oftentimes come with a sense of entitlement, and black women more than enough play into that sense of entitlement. So I don't think anything's going to be changing with that anytime soon. So long story short, black men, including Godfrey, love the idea of being desired by other groups of women outside of black women. They love the validation. They're not trying to give up the validation, especially to appease black women. Nuh-uh. And simultaneously will still expect black women to support, and will very much shame black women for trying not to support or opting out of supporting them if they get caught up, if they have a new project coming out, etc. That is where we're at right now. With that being said, let's continue.
And it's so funny because a lot of us, I'm not trying to be but AOC, yeah, AOC, what's that other girl, the Muslim girl from Minnesota, who's like in the House of Representatives, I don't know what her name is, Omar, right? They're the ones fighting against white supremacy, yet their men are white. All their men are white. I didn't know. I'm just saying. What is that? What is that? Tell me. Oh, they're complaining. AOC, when that whole, what was that march, when they were marching to the Capitol, they were looking for her. She's like, oh, all this white supremacy, and her man is white, pale. I'm just trying to understand this. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to take away from your message. When your man is white, you're preaching all this white supremacy, white male supremacy, the ones that are unfair to you in Congress, and then you got one. Listen, guys, am I crazy? Am I crazy? I'm just saying, man. Everybody's always on their soapbox about this, we got to fight white supremacy, and then what's the You Fidelis care. What is going on? That's all I'm saying, guys.
All right, so first of all, let's get something out the way. AOC, that woman is not a black woman. So how is she even put into this conversation to begin with? All right, she's not black. Unless you're going all the way back in her ancestral history and you found one black ancestor and you talk about one drop rule and stuff like that. But nah, she don't claim no black. So how is this black women's problem? Because this seems to be centering around strongly around black women here. And he mentioned a woman who is, I believe, East African or Ethiopian or something to that effect, Muslim. Um, Basically, he's having an issue with those women talking against white supremacy, but also married to white supremacy. And I do believe that is a valid criticism, but it's like, well, I thought that was cool because we've seen it before when it comes to black men who will come through with the pro-black and the black talk, but then you see who they're with, and at best, it'd be like a light-skinned black woman or a biracial woman, but and at other times, it'd be a non-black woman, right? Again, folks trying to jump on the pro-black train. You know? And as I said previously, when it comes to pro-black men, and I guess really pro-black people in general, I'm very suspicious of pro-black people whose pro-blackness consistently skips over phenotypically black women. That's very suspicious to me. But it seems like Godfrey is annoyed and triggered by, black women speaking out against white supremacy, but also at the same time being married to a white man. And again, it's a valid criticism, but it needs to be applied across the board to both black men and black women. Because anytime when the sisters bring up something like this, it's like, oh, well, it don't matter. Oh, see the bigger picture. Oh, this is bigger than that. Don't be so petty and trivial. And don't you acting like you jealous and bitter and angry. Right? It's always some sort of an excuse. Right? But again, that selective critical thinking comes into play now. People all of a sudden can think critically about things. All of a sudden, we can see the bigger picture. All of a sudden, imagery matters. Presentation matters. Right? But let's continue.
And please, I don't want your comments going, love is love. That's not what I'm talking about, and you're missing my point. See, so for some reason, when people get in, some people, it's not all, some people that get in interracial relationships get this racial stupidity, like their IQ goes down all of a sudden. They go, oh, no, my man is not racist. Shut the up. You understand? The same person that's you can actually be disrespecting you. I'm just saying, it happens in some of these relationships. So let's not get it twisted. The racial gap is still wide as so this ain't solving it. Huh? This ain't solving it. Peace to my biracial friends. Peace to all my friends that are products of these kind of relationships. You know what I'm talking about. All right? All right. Thank you.
All right, so, that's what Godfrey had to say. And then he also brought up something about people being in interracial relationships and kind of like falling into what he calls racial stupidity, which, again, I don't think that's completely untrue. I don't think that's completely false. There are some people, both black men and black women, who do kind of get a little stupid, or either just are, lacking in intelligence when it comes to, I guess, racial stuff and being in interracial relationships, and kind of like racism within, the possibility of racism within interracial relationships, etc. But I'm not sure if Godfrey is the one that should be delivering this message. And as well, I think this message should not only be directed at black women. And I feel like this message strongly and primarily is directed at black women for some reason here. And I think a lot of times people in the black community, both black men and black women, view black women as being like perhaps the gatekeepers of blackness in some sense. And the cornerstones of blackness, and the ones who hold it down for blackness. And I'm not going to say that there's no truth in that at all. But a lot of times people put that pressure on black women so much, and black women also like the idea of that too. Not all, but more than enough do kind of like that idea of being the ones to hold down blackness, baby. And the thing is, that is important and that's needed, but it'd be like, oh, black women, they're holding down blackness, but then the black dudes, they're just, going around with whomever, you know? And that does not make for a strong black community or a strong black family structure, That doesn't work like that. Like, it doesn't, like, those actions do not lead to positive results, right? And also, is this still a joke? Like, is this still a joke, Godfrey? And he also mentioned something about, you can still be racially disrespected in interracial relationships, and that's true. You can. That is a thing. It happens, right? But are we really concerned about black women being racially disrespected in relationships that are, interracial relationships? I don't really think people are all that concerned about black women's well-being, whether they're in interracial relationships or, pro-black love relationships, or just in general. There's, across the board, there seems to be a lack of concern when it comes to black women's well-being and black girls' well-being. And he said peace to his biracial friends, And the thing is with Godfrey, I don't know why he's so mad at the black women who swirling. They're going to be creating the black, the type of black women that he like. He like them light and bright. And that's his business, It's all right that he got a preference. That's cool, We all can have our preferences, right? But I guess then again, maybe the black women aren't socializing their biracial daughters to date black men versus, say, the black men and the non-black women and their daughters being perhaps socialized to date black men. Maybe that's a thing. But yeah. And also, what exactly is his point in all this? Because he's kind of like going back and forth, like, that's not my point. That's not my point. Because some black women kind of got at him a little bit and said, hey, you have been known to be with white women, and you've even bragged about being with black women for exploring their options. And it comes off as being extremely hypocritical. And that's the reason why they're bringing that up, Godfrey. They didn't just bring that up out of nowhere, right? Just like you came for them, they came for you. Right? And then he's going back and forth with black women on social media too. And then I think he got smart enough to know that, okay, he's going to go into their DMs and do it privately and go at them back and forth. Because he knows that it's not a good look to be going back and forth, and saying the things that he's saying. And a lot of times the black women aren't even really saying things that are all that, like, scathing and critical. They're just saying some real stuff. And then he comes back with the insults and jabs and stuff. And also, one thing I do want to speak on is Godfrey, coming for the YouTuber Paris Milan. I didn't like that. He could have kept that part to himself. But he's feeling really comfortable in coming for black women. Notice that. That really needs to be noted here. And he's, had a history in the past of being in defense of black women. And now that really makes me question, what was all that about? Was that really coming from a place of sincerity, or was that coming from a place of pandering? Right? Because a lot of people do pander to black women because it's very easy to pander to black women. I mean, really, if I wanted to really get on in the YouTube game, I would either, I could go one of two routes, really. Pander to black women, or, strongly critique and criticize black women, right? And you've seen this play out with, say, Derek Jackson. He was the panderer. And you also seeing this play out with Kevin Samuels. He's the one who critiques and, goes in on black women, right? And he's also saying, like, oh, you came at me first. You came at me first, right? You gonna get this work because you came at me first, black woman, right? First of all, I thought this was a joke, Godfrey, because nowhere in the comments that I've been seeing that, you said, hey, calm down, it's just a joke. I wasn't serious about that. I didn't see any of that in these comments, considering that this was supposed to be a joke, right? And also, no, you came at them first with this video. You came at them first and they responded to you coming at them. There's a difference, all right? Don't start no, won't be no ish, right? You started this. This is your fault. You got what you asked for. You got what you deserved. And ultimately, the black women who are really coming at you, they're more so coming at you because of the hypocrisy that's behind all this, right? Because by and large, those black women let you live. When you were talking about, being with non-black women, primarily white women, and when you've been photoed out with nothing but light, bright, and biracial women, right? They let you live, right? They didn't really come for you. But the thing is, you came for them talking smack and going in on what they talk and what they doing. So they got to come for you, It's just reciprocity, right? If you came at black women in a different tone, in a different manner, then perhaps they would have done the same thing with you. But you decided to go about it this way. So this is the results of that. This is the product of that. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. But I personally think that Godfrey does have some sort of unresolved resentment towards black women. I think Godfrey should use this moment to do some self-reflecting and possibly find a way to resolve that unresolved resentment that he has towards black women. And I think that will work out for him a lot better, and it will, I believe, lead to him being able to give black women a truly sincere apology. Another thing that people brought up was that Godfrey is 51 years old. And there's nothing wrong with being 51 years old, all right? But the reason that I bring this up is because even still, Godfrey being 51 years old, unmarried, no family, etc., he could go out and start a family, right? But if Godfrey was a woman of any variety, really, but we can say a black woman, she would not have this same option, right? One, because of biology. Also, folks saying that women be hitting the wall. But if she's a black woman, she's possibly can, you know, resist hitting the wall for some years, typically. But still, even just her being 51 years of age, though, that's for enough for people to count her out and say that she's gonna die alone. She's gonna be in the danger zone and she's gonna die alone. Oh, you average at best. Oh, you can't get no high quality, high value man because you 51 years old. High value, high quality men don't want women who are 51 years old, says the dude who is like 50 years old, right? Do the high value, high quality women want the dudes who are 50 years old, though? you know, you know, but according to that dude, he gotta, beat him off with a bat. Yeah. But even if that is true, I thought exceptions don't make the rules, right? Even if that is true, still, you know. But yeah, so even still, like, Godfrey still got options. Not to say that black women who are 51 years old don't, but still, like, no one is counting him out really because he's 51 years old. Saying that he gonna die alone, all on your own. Ain't nobody gonna be with you. No, no. But yeah, so when it comes to black women, and really just women in general, but especially black women, there's a lot of factors that are not on your side. So it would behoove you to explore all your options, right? Because, you know, at one point or another, you're not going to be able to have kids anymore. At one point or another, you're going to probably hit the wall. At one point or another, you're going to get to a certain age where people consider you old and ready to discard you, at least from when it comes to the dating market. So, considering all those things and all those factors that are working against you, it would strongly behoove you, right, to explore all of your options. And also, statistically speaking, I don't think there's enough black men to go around for the black women who want black men, right? So we got to get those statistics then, because, well, there's some black men who don't want black women because they're swirlers. There's some black women or black men who are in jail. There are some black women or black men who are homosexual. There are some black men who just for one reason or another just ain't gonna make the cut, right? If a black woman really has standards. So considering all those factors, again, you know, people don't really take all that into consideration. Both black men and black women don't take all that into consideration when it comes to black women, because it's just like, well, who cares? Oh, well, that's not important. You know, Folks, again, selective critical thinking skills. Now, if this was a black man having all these factors, this would be a whole community issue. We'd be talking about it. Oh, we'll be saying that, oh, we got to be patient with the black kings because they don't know how to do these things. Yeah. You know how people like to push that narrative, like, oh, black women traded in black men for a welfare check, that narrative. And then it's like, well, what about the black men who are with non-black women who end up leaving them single mothers too? You know, People don't really want to talk about that aspect, right? And then some people love to come through and talk about, well, uh, most black people, most black men are married to black women. 83% of black people are married to black people. And people do misinterpret that statistic. And really, it's saying that 80% of the people who are married and who are black and married are married to black people. It's not saying that 83% of black people are married, right? There's a difference. And Godfrey kind of brought this up at one point or another, actually.
One girl was saying, "Yeah, black men, you just want to not get married." I go, 83% of black people marry each other, and there's a lot of black couples that have been married for a long time, and I know white people who are divorced. So stop.
And I'm like, well, if that is the case, and that is true, as you believe it is to be true, then why did you even speak about this in general? Like, at all? Why did you speak about this at all? If that truly is what you think and what you believe, why be concerned about this at all? Since, oh, 83% of black folks married. So, why did you even bring this up in the first place? Right? Again, like, I don't, like, Godfrey don't know whether he's entering the room or leaving the room. He just confused. He don't know what he talking about. He just all over the place. But that's what happens when you kind of like be backtracking and trying to say things ain't what it is when really it is what it is, and lying and trying to cover up the lies and stuff like that. You do kind of get kind of caught up in that whole web of lies. So long story short, what Godfrey said was not a joke. Now, Godfrey is a joke, but what he said wasn't a joke. And really, speaking on a personal level, I'm ashamed of Godfrey and his behavior. This behavior is not masculine, it's not manly, and it's not conducive to creating and maintaining positive relationships between black men and black women. So I'm going to challenge Godfrey to get it together and do better. But I'm going to bring this video to a close because I don't want to go on for too long. I went on for long enough. But I thank you guys for watching, especially if you made it to the end of this video. All right. But if you were able to make it to the end of this video, please let me know by putting the following phrase in your comment, our comments. Black women have options. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, adios and goodbye for now.